What's up? It's Eddie. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I wanted to show you a little bit because we got the new moon coming up tomorrow. Today's December 3rd, and the next new moon is December 4th. It'll actually be the last full moon of this rotation before the solstice, before the winter solstice. So like you got to remember that a lot of rituals are more potent on the new moon, whether they're being used against you by certain elites or certain AI programs, or whether you're using them on yourself. And that's what we got to remember to do, is try to neutralize their rituals by doing your own rituals on yourself. That's what aligns with me. That's what I feel like I need to do. But so like the new moon, or like whenever you're starting a new, or wanting to do a new habit or make changes or to get some motivation, the new moon is usually the best time to start this. Because it's like almost like you have, when you're trying to do something new or trying to get motivation or do whatever you need to do, or to convince yourself of something, it's like having the tide at your back. Instead of, if you're in like a certain moon phases, if you try to do stuff, it's almost like you're gonna have the tide coming at you with it, more pushback from the reality system, more challenging. And if you do it at certain other times, you'll have more energy behind you doing it. So that's the idea of doing certain rituals during the new moon, is to get certain energy moving behind you when you do this. Now, I like doing it on these new moons. I like doing sigil magic for myself. And you can do this many different ways. But for this moon phase, I want to just keep it simple. And I'm just going to put one thing in there. And you can do whatever you want. You can get creative with this, right? But for just an example for this, I'm going to do motivation, because it seems like that's what a lot of people are lacking. And it seems like when we go under energetic attacks, that's what we start to lose, is motivation. So I want to try to pull energy out of the grid to try to give me motivation, to try to reprogram my subconscious mind to be motivated, right? So what I do is this. I already wrote this up, right? But here's like the diagram. I spelled the word, I did my sigil, and then I wrote it out a numerous amount of times, right? Now, when you make these sigils, there's traditional ways that you can do it, right? You write the traditional way is that you write the word out, right? And then you make a symbol out of the word. But see, when you're making the symbol out of the word, you go to each letter, and then you put the letter in there, and you make it however you want, you know what I mean? You write your M to start off. But then when you get to a vowel, in the traditional way, you're supposed to skip it. And then you go to the next letter. You don't use the vowels, and then if there's a letter that repeats in the word, you don't use that again. And I've done sigils with that too, and for this one I did it traditionally. But you can do it, like, you got to remember too, with magic and when you're doing stuff, you can get creative and make your own rules. Just because something worked for somebody else, or they did it a certain way and it worked, doesn't mean that like nothing else will work too. So you got to try your own shit and see if it works. It's not going to be the end of the world. If you do a ritual the wrong way, or if you do it your own way and it doesn't work, then it didn't work. But then if it did work and you had some success, you'll see that. So try it with different patterns, or however you think, you know what I mean? Skip every letter, or use every single letter, or just use like the first and the last letter. Just different scenarios that you can do. Make little codes and diagrams and stuff, and do it your own way if you want, or do it the traditional way, however you want to do it. But then you come out and you make your little symbol out of it. Usually, see, I'm showing you what the symbol is for that, but if I didn't have the word on there and I just showed you that symbol, nobody else would even know what that would mean except me, especially if I really wanted to get creative with it. But so as you write that, then you make your sigil, right? But see, what I like to do too is to add more energy to it, because the words have power, and when you write stuff, it has power too. It does stuff with your subconscious mind. So if you sit there and like just keep saying this to yourself over and over again, you can do it. The longer you do it, the better. If you have more patience, sometimes doing magic and doing rituals and stuff takes patience. If you try to just do stuff real fast and then just, okay, I did it, sometimes it won't. The more energy and the more time and effort and creativity you put into a ritual, the more results you're going to see out of it, right? So you can just sit there and say, I am motivated. I am motivated. I am a motivated person. I am going to be motivated. Or you can add different stuff. I will accomplish what I like goals that I set for myself. I am motivated, and say the same things over and over and keep repeating it. If you have to, burn your Palo Santo wood while you do it. Burn some sage while you do it. Walk in a circle around your room and just keep saying it over and over again. Program it into your subconscious mind, because you got to remember that they're programming you subliminally all the time with stuff like that. That you're just not even consciously with certain music and certain. I notice, I don't want to get too off topic, but with rap music, obviously they're programming people to be violent and to sell drugs and all this kind of stuff. But even with country music, when I hear other people listening to that, and I'm like, damn, they're just programming these people to want to drink, to want to be upset, to want to, like, certain stuff it's talking about being in a good mood, but a lot of it's programming you to want to do things that are going to make you lower your frequency. So you got to program yourself with thoughts and sayings that are going to make you raise your frequency, get you in the act of doing stuff that's going to raise your frequency. Because a lot of this stuff, see, they're slick with the music, how they do it, right? So say somebody like is trying to like live better, like stay clean, eat healthy, you know, and just do things that is going to raise their frequency, exercise, stay away from partying, all that type of stuff, right? All it takes is for that person, right, if they're, especially when they're in the beginning of trying to live correctly, and then they might hear like a certain song, and the person's talking about getting some girls that night, or going to get these drugs, and doing this and that, and they'll say it in a certain way, in a certain tonation, and play a certain beat to them, and it'll make that person that's trying to live right on a higher path, make them feel like corny, or make them feel like they're doing something wrong, and then it'll maybe make them lead them back into doing it. So it's a lot of it's mind control. So you got to learn to mind control yourself too. Is what part of the thing is. But this also helps you get energy back into it. When you say that over and over again, you're putting it into the grid, and you're putting it into your subconscious mind, right? So just get creative with it and do that. You also, another thing you can do too is you can make a copy sigil, make a secondary one, and then you take that one and then you can burn it. Burn it around the time that the new moon is supposed to actually get set down. And then you go outside and burn it. Maybe dig like a little hole and burn it. You get creative. Dig a little hole, put it in the hole, burn it, put like a crystal in the hole, sprinkle some like salt in there or something. Do whatever. And then like spit in it, put your essence into it. Take some of your hair or something and stick it in there with it. Close it up, you know what I mean? Put your intentions into it, that this is going to help back me for being more motivated. This is going to make me more stronger. This is going to make me more confident. Whatever you're looking to get, you know. But the thing is, I've done ones before where I've done numerous things at the same time, but I just know my intuition tells me, and from my experience, if you just put one thing into it, that energy is going to go into that one thing. If you try to do too many things at once, you might kind of confuse the ritual and dilute your energy a little bit. Because motivation is going to give you a lot of other things too. I'm not saying you have to use motivation. I use different ones at different times. But I'm saying try to find a simple one-word thing that you can do that's going to give you multiple things. Because if you have motivation, to get motivation, you need energy, right? And then when you start getting motivated and accomplishing things, you're going to get confident. Right, so then it's going to get many things out of one. So try to do things like that you don't have to confuse the ritual, but you can cram many things into one word that's going to start fractalizing and give you more things out of it than, you know what I mean? A couple birds with one stone. But so then after you do this, right, and then you have all your stuff you wrote down, you set it and everything, then you can see I already have this. I have this set up already for you to see, but where the hell, how do I set this around? But this is like this circle that I have here, and I'll have like, I did it this time with crystal skulls all the way around it, and then I have my selenite in the middle, and you want to have a piece in the middle, like your quartz, but like and then like an obelisk, you know, or a pyramid, but make sure it's just got, it don't have to be as big as this one, but make sure it's got a nice point on it so it can take in that energy properly. And I'll even stick like a piece of copper there to help it be more conductive. But then you just take your sigil, and I stick that right there like that, and put my crystal on top of it. And then I can stick that right there on there. And then maybe even after this, I'll sit here for a little bit and meditate and keep saying that saying into it and try to project that into this crystal and project it into there and then see what it does for me, right? But then after that, too, you got to remember to you got to start taking some action. Like immediately after you get this, after you get your grid set up and you do all that, the best thing that you can do at that point is have something, because you're going to have stuff obviously that you need to get done. If it's getting your car cleaned, if it's cleaning something in your house, if it's getting something done with your kids, or fixing something around your house, or whatever, something that you've been putting off, something with work or whatever, right? You'll know, have this list already set up too. Write a list of things you need to accomplish, right? And then right after you get your grid set up, and then you do your meditation on it, maybe even take your tuning forks, hit them, go around with it, burn your little sage, say your stuff, put your meditative thoughts into it. Immediately after you're done that, go to your list and at least try to knock a thing or two out on your list and get the ball rolling, even if you don't feel that good at the time, right? Because I'm feeling pretty good right now, actually, leading into the ritual, which is great. But if you're not, you still got to get the ball rolling. Sometimes right after you accomplish that first thing, you'll get that dopamine hit, and then you'll feel a lot better about yourself, and then maybe you can start accomplishing other things too. But then, and get that ball rolling, and then just every day, know that you have that behind you, backing you, whether it's a placebo, whether it's whatever it fucking takes to get your energy moving and get you getting them shit done. It's going to help. Right? Just like when somebody's on NoFap, right? I don't know if I'm sure some of you do NoFap or have done NoFap in the time. And when you're doing NoFap, one of the most important things that I try to like tell somebody that's new into NoFap, if they find it's hard or whatever, because when you first start NoFap, it takes like a lot of practice to even get that first week under your belt. But as you're getting through there, and you get like 4-5 days under your belt, and you're climbing up to that week period, because that first week is a milestone, and you're going to notice a whole lot more energy after that first week of NoFap. But as you're leading up to that, you're going to have intense urges, right? And when you start feeling them urges, the best thing to do at that point is to accomplish something. Even if it's exercising or cleaning or getting something done, you got to put that energy into something, and it'll get it rolling, and it'll transmute that sexual energy into like motivational energy that you can use. And so that's just like an example kind of that I'm using. It's the same type of a thing with this situation. So right after you get done with everything, just start knocking your list out. And just like anybody tells you that's trying to build, if you're trying to help your body release dopamine naturally and build dopamine, what you need to do is, one of the easiest things that you can do is just make a to-do list of things to do. And they don't have to be gigantic. Make the list, if you can, simple things. You know, and then just keep checking. Every time you check one of them things off your list, you're going to get a dopamine hit, but it's going to be in a healthy way. It's going to get your brain releasing it in a natural way that you were supposed to feel it, not through, you know, watching porn or eating the wrong kind of food or smoking a cigarette or doing a drug, which is actually detrimental to your whole neurotransmitter system of your body and your brain, and actually enables your system over time. This type of stuff will start to keep your body, because dopamine is important for the right kind of things. You know, when you have rewards that you're supposed to accomplish and shit like that. That's why we need this type of shit, or for mating and everything, so you can keep reproducing in this system. But yeah, so it's just a reminder, because the new moon is coming up. I like the new moons because I was born on a new moon. It feels special to me, and I always noticed when I tried to do something, when I've quit doing hard things or broke away from addictions, it was always around the new moon that I started, and it always gives you the best results. So that's all for this video. Thanks for listening and watching. Good luck. Peace.